Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, 600 police officers to be on the streets for the Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade. How one Salvation Army volunteer is spending her Christmas. A new runway at LPIA open, plus a look at 2019 in review.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
A very Merry Christmas and welcome to Our News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, with holiday festivities in full swing, National Security Minister Marvin Dames is warning residents not to let their guard down, as this time of year often sees an uptick in crime.
We're asking members of the public to be extremely careful as they go about their business of putting smiles on the faces of family members and friends and neighbors.
Dames' comments came in the wake of a spate of armed robberies across New Providence. He says while police are doing all they can, including increasing saturation patrols, the public also has a role to play by being vigilant and reporting anything they think is suspicious to police.
When you do see something suspicious, whether you're coming home at night or whether you're out with friends or whether you're in a parking lot and you see people lurking, just pick up the phone and call. If you are suspicious of it, call the police immediately.
Well, as groups and spectators make their way to Bay Street for the 2019 Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade tonight, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is asking you to be vigilant. Police Press Liaison Officer Superintendent Shanton Old says 600 police officers will be on the road tonight in the areas near and around Bay Street.
Public can expect the police to be out in full force for both parades, Boxing Day and New Year's Day parade. We have deployed more than 600 officers to police those parades. So know that our presence will be felt and you will be totally secured out there at those parades.
Bay Street has been closed to motorists since noon today. Now, Noel says while she knows thousands are expected to descend on Bay Street for the parade, spectators should be mindful of a few rules like no glass bottles, including baby bottles.
Come out to the parades. We encourage you to come out and enjoy the parades, but come with as less valuables as possible. If you don't need a handbag, don't travel with it. A cell phone is fine, less jewelry, a little cash, because we do have vendors there who will be selling food. So just come out out to the parade, enjoy it, but bring as little valuables as possible.
And when it comes to those with plans to cause trouble at the parade, Superintendent Knoll says think twice.
So we are saying to those who intend to come out there, we know that over the past years we've seen young boys in large numbers, large groups. Well, we will have officers in large groups who will also be roving the streets. We will not tolerate any misbehavior of any kind. You will feel our presence as far as East Street and Wolf Road, but as you get closer to the parade route, you will see the police presence. There will be officers at intersections, and at those intersections, officers will be conducting searches, random searches. So we're saying to females, do not let anyone cause you to put any weapons into your handbags, because we will be searching your handbags. Anything that can be used to cause harm to anyone else, yourself or anyone else, we will be confiscating and discarding.
Well, the Christmas holiday is a time of giving what is often thought to be the most sought-after items of the year. But for one woman who has been volunteering at the Salvation Army for more than 4 decades, it is also the time of year to give to the gift of kindness. Jasmine Brown has her story in this report.
For 46 years, Diana Hepburn has been a volunteer with the Salvation Army, and she says she hasn't regretted a single moment of helping others since she started volunteering back in the early 1970s. She explains how she got her start all those years ago.
I came through a program that they call the Home League. It's a women's ministry. And then when I saw what was happening in the Salvation Army, I decided, well, this is a good thing for me to do, to give back to my country and to the people that I love.
Hepburn was one of nearly a dozen volunteers we met this month, working feverishly to pack holiday food parcels for those who cannot afford the ingredients needed for a traditional Christmas dinner. While many of the other volunteers were much younger than Hepburn, it did not stop her from keeping up with those half her age. She says it's her dedication to give to others that keeps her going strong.
I am dedicated because this is what Jesus wanted us to do, and so we have to, do it. It's hard work, but we love doing it. We just love doing it, It's really hard, and sometimes people insult us, but we don't mind. They did more to Jesus, and so we have to. He has no hands but our hands, and so we have to do what he wants us to do.
And her drive does not go unnoticed by those around her. She is affectionately called Auntie Di by everyone in the Salvation Army. Hepburn says it's that familial feeling that keeps her coming back, as she says volunteering has become a part of her everyday life. She says over the past 4 decades she has had many memorable moments, but it's her work with children which is the most rewarding.
To see the joys, especially when we deliver the toys to the hospital during the Christmas season, to see the joy on the children's faces, it's really rewarding.
Nearly half a century later, she says she has no plans of slowing down.
Until I can't do it anymore. Because right now I have a little challenge, but so what? I still come.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, a new $20 million runway is open and in use at Lynden Pindling International Airport. After operating as a single runway airport for a few months while the work was being carried out, LPIA VP of Marketing Jan Knowles said the runway is now being utilized by the many aircraft that frequent the international airport.
The works are completed. The runway is in use. As you know, LPIA was operating as a single runway airport while those works were being done. And so in time for, the heavier capacity and the busier period, the runway is open, and so we're happy to have that done.
Now the airport is in the middle of its busy season as it rebounds from a slump following Hurricane Dorian. Knowles said the upgrades were worth every penny.
The works were around $20 million. It was a resurfacing of our prior runway, 0927. The runway now has been renamed. It's runway 1028, and it's open and operating, and all the feedback has been from the pilots very smooth.
Still to come, we wrap up our 12 days of Christmas countdown. Stay tuned.
You've never had a Christmas like a Rev $250,000 cash back Christmas? Sign up for Trio now and get NBA League Pass free. That's right, simply switch or port your number to Trio or upgrade any single or double play package to Trio and get NBA League Pass free. Give Dad the best Christmas ever and get Trio now. Call 601-8992 for free NBA. Only with Rev, you and us together. Available to existing Trio and triple play customers. Terms and conditions apply.
You're watching Our News. Welcome back. What's Christmas without some good desserts to please your sweet tooth? Jerome Sawyer has all the fillings with Pastry Haven.
In the Bahamas, everybody knows Christmas and food go hand in hand. Christmas pastries are the real deal to completing Christmas meals. And if your house is like mine, you'll probably be waiting to get your hands on one of these.
So for Christmas, you have pastries that would involve like pumpkin rolls, cheesecakes. You have the traditional guava duff. You have something that's called the Yule log. It's not really popular in the Bahamas, but it is a popular Christmas dessert. There's also, at Pastry Haven, we have eggnog cheesecakes, pumpkin roll cheesecakes, pumpkin pie cheesecakes, you have pumpkin pies, all kind of different stuff.
There is variations to the duff. A lot of times I do pineapple, pina colada, coconut, the traditional guava, basically whatever flavor I'm feeling.
And for those doing their own baking this holiday, here are some tips to help you out.
A lot of people like to over bake their cakes, which isn't very good because a lot of times you buy these cakes from different places and you end up with very, very extremely dry cakes. And nobody wants a dry cake, especially after you already spent like $40 to $60 on it. So try not to over bake your pastries this Christmas. What I do, most of my pastries, I underbake them. So as soon as I think they're done, or almost done, I take them out. Why? Because the heat is gonna carry over. After you take it out of the oven, it's still cooking, it's still hot, it's still cooking. So that's my secret to getting very moist pastries.
If you're going to be doing the Bahamian favorite, guava duff, remember, it's boiling over baking for the best results.
I personally don't use foil. A lot of people will be surprised to see what I actually do use to boil my guava duff in. I personally don't like the pillowcase because it leaves the outside of the dough very wet sometimes, and I don't prefer that. But what I do boil it in is a turkey bag. No water gets in, and it does the same job.
A former Bakers Bay employee says she isn't holding any ill will towards the company after it was forced to let go of staff following the destruction caused by Hurricane Dorian. 24-year-old Ashante Reckley worked in residential sales before Dorian struck, and she, along with thousands of others, had to evacuate Abaco. Reckley says she understands why the company had to lay off the majority of its staff.
The company, it's a great company. It's a company that you can learn from. It's a company that gives you international exposure and experience right here at home. But in all actuality, the company cannot, like I always say, it's only fair. The company, they have been really good. After the hurricane and everyone came over, they provided hundreds of families with a place to stay for long periods of time. They helped in any which way they could. All of the employees were still being paid. That's more than most companies would have done.
Hurricane Dorian swept over Abaco and Grand Bahama in early September, leaving devastation in its wake. In late October, Bakers Bay Golf and Ocean Club announced its closure and plans to lay off the majority of its staff for the foreseeable future, given the extensive damage. Reckley says she doesn't believe anyone can fault them for the closing given the circumstances. The mother of a 6-year-old son says she believes the company has gone above and beyond when it comes to helping employees.
Yes, the news may have been disappointing to some, but I was one of those ones that understood, okay, this company cannot pay hundreds of employees for months, maybe years to come, because of course the company might go bankrupt if they do that. So it's understandable, and plus they still basically made it really clear that, okay, the job offer will still be on the table when everything is back to normal. So, you know, all is not lost. You just have to be positive about it and see the fair side of it. It's only fair.
Still to come, Foam warns the loss of women to violence. Stay tuned.
Did the screen just freeze? It's a dramatic pause.
An organization is sounding the alarm on violence against women in the country. Families of all murder victims, or FOAM, reacting to reports that 3 women have been brutally murdered in Nassau over the past few weeks, the most recent being a mother of 6 last week. FOAM President Candy Gibson said something must be done.
We want to let the persons know FOAM stands with them, FOAM mourns with them. But most importantly, we're asking women during this Yuletide season, let's show the sisterhood love, man. Let's love upon each other. You know, we always saying the man doing this, the man doing that, but we women, we doing more harm than good to each other. Like I say again, oftentimes we women, we see another woman going through a dilemma, and before we pull her up, before we push up, we rather pull her down or go on Facebook and lambaste her, not taking the time but to find out why is this woman going through what she's going through.
On Sunday, FOAM led a candlelight vigil for the 3 slain women in Nassau Village. The area's MP, House Speaker Housen Wiltshire, was in attendance. Gibson urged more women to come together to combat gender-based violence.
We asking them now to be more proactive. Like my question there is your action contributing to someone committing suicide? Is your action contributing to someone having to go sleep with somebody for their turn to eat? So you want people now during this Yuletide season to reality check on themselves, man. Be more about the sisterhood. Be more about the womanhood.
Still to come, a sneak peek at Our News Year in Review. Stay tuned.
From TV to phone to fast internet, How can we show appreciation for the 25 years you've been with Rev? To celebrate our 25th birthday, Rev is rewarding 250 lucky customers with $250,000 cash back. Simply switch to Trio, upgrade to Trio, or pay your bill in full and have your chance to win cash this Christmas. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Did the screen just freeze? It's a dramatic pause.
In April, when we had the BPL chairman who said that there will be no load shedding, he basically said that they are ready, you know, they have these generators, and then boom, lights went out. It's going to bring up some bad memories. And I know that they're probably going to say, you know, this has been such a rough year, not only as it relates to experiencing the long power outages, but we also have a $30 increase that's coming. So I had moments where I laughed, where I wanted to cry because I remembered being in my house for 4 hours wondering when the power would come on. And so going back in that footage and looking at some of those things, it was an emotional roller coaster.